Hi! On the Woodpecker today, I didn't know what to give Renée at Christmas. So I thought that she might like some hand-carved decorations. Maybe you remember that 8 years ago I made my very first sculpture. It was my ugly Santa. Even the shiny paint didn't help. It was terrible. In October 2020, I sculpted those lions' feet, and that's when I realized I could do better. It's the reason I decided to make some sculptures last Christmas. The very first thing I have to do is something to sharpen my knives. I find a piece of leather and cut it close to the size I need. Now I can cut some wood and prepare it to receive the leather. When I'm finished with the tools, it's time to spray some glue on the wood and leather. When both pieces are together, it's glued in place. I just need to remove the excess and wipe on a coat of oil that I'm only keeping for my tools. As a matter of fact, it's gunstock oil. Then I can charge the leather with an abrasive paste and sharpen the knives. Here's my very first carving, but I can take credit for it. I'm only following the step-by-step video that Doug Linker made on how to do this carving. The first thing to do is to trace the general shape of the design. Then make sure the knife is sharp. Next, I can make some cuts. Since I don't really know what I'm doing, you should not expect a video on how to carve, but rather a video on yes, you too can do this. But there's still a lot of wood to remove. I'm having trouble with my knife, and I realize that certain cuts are easier with a chisel. After an hour and 20 minutes, I have my second carving. Not bad. I love this so much that I'm making another one. This time around, it's a small snowman. This time I also follow the step-by-step video. After 2 hours, I have this. I'm starting to really like this. I'm making another type of snowman. It's quite different from the previous one. I begin, like all the other tiny men, by sharpening my tools. Yes, sharp tools are not a luxury for sculpting. Here, you can see that my chisel cuts super well. But I can manage to have such a sharp knife. Yes, it cuts, but not like the way I would like it to. It's night and day if I compare it to the knives I bought after finishing all this carving. But I still have one more little man to carve.
Let's just dig that in a little bit. Do that deep enough. Lock it still. Alright. So
Here's the result after 2.5 hours. It gets easier with each carving. So I'm going to make a final model. But my basswood is full of nuts. I have enough trouble with my knife, so I won't press my luck. So I'm preparing more wood. Here's the test I made off cam. It's time to make another one just for you. Okay, actually it's for Renée. It's incredible that those small cuts will eventually end up looking like that. Here I add texture to all the fur. I use a super small carving chisel to do that. 2.5 hours later, I'm done. To be honest, I'm super happy with the results. It's hard to imagine that all those started out like this. But I'm not done. I still need to paint them. But my very first carving, even painted, was still ugly. Since I'm starting with better carvings, I'm more confident with the final result. The first thing I do is seal the wood with shellac. 4 are sealed with clear shellac and the other 4 with dark shellac, just to see if there will be a difference. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do several tests from now on. On the left side, you can see the ones that were sealed with dark shellac. Not a big difference with the others. When the shellac is dry, it's time to paint some colors. I begin with white, which is the most prominent color. Having several carvings to paint has some advantages. Like when I'm done painting one color for all of them, the paint is dry on the first one, so I can continue with another color. Here, the white is done, but it's not identical on all of them. On the snowman, I diluted the white to be able to see the wood grain. This way, I can really make the eyes white. But I brush another coat of white on the beard and fur of the Santas. Here, I especially don't want this to be transparent. But there are more colors to paint. To simulate snow dust on the jacket, I dry paint it white. After the final touch, the paint is finished. I just need to leave this to dry overnight. The next morning, I want to wipe on a coat of wax on all my sculptures, and then I'm going to do more tests. On some carvings, I'm going to use this old soft wax. On a few others, this sort of yellow wax. I also have white wax like this. I have beeswax too, and finally this dark brown wax. Now it's time to wipe some wax on them. To be honest, just looking at them, I can't see any difference between these waxes. On the other hand, the brown wax makes a huge difference, especially on this one, which has no paint on the nose. It's so obvious when I put those two side by side. But by far, the one I love the most is actually the salad bowl finish wax, which is made from mineral oil and beeswax. Here are the 8 small carvings I made for Renée last Christmas. Now they're ready to be given to her.
Ouais, tu t'es lâché lousse? Oh, lui, il est beau! Ah, un autre bonhomme de neige, est-ce qu'il y a l'air d'un français, puis on dirait que c'est un béret. Ah!
Ah, il est beau!
Il est beau, hein? Ah, il est beau, lui!
As you can see, she loved them. As a matter of fact, so do I. For my first really not so ugly carving, I find that it's not that bad. I think I'm going to make more of these tiny guys. It's quite relaxing. It's true that the lion's feet gave me the boost to make those. And those inspired Renée to try her hand at carving too. Here are some carvings we did together after Christmas. This is the one Renée carved. My biggest wish is that this video will inspire you too to try your hand at carving. If I was able to do this, so can you. And see you soon for another episode of the Woodpecker.